welcome to First Chapter Friday. Our story today is by a Canadian author, and it is quite an excellent story of survival and of relationship between son and a mother, and a story about sometimes when the adult isn't the responsible one in the family. And that story is No Fixed Address by Susin Nielsen. This book is dedicated to Eleanor Nielsen, as well as the first book that the author wrote, who is the author's mom. These stories both featured single-parent moms of only children, same as her and her mom, but that's where the similarities stop. She said, "Mom, whether or not you consistently felt it yourself, you always made the ground feel safe beneath my feet and still do." And then she made this adorable little picture that was drawn when she was 6 years old. November 27th, 12:05 a.m., a little after midnight. My leg jiggled up and down. I shifted one bum cheek to the other. My palms felt damp and my heart was pounding. I've never been interrogated before. You're not being interrogated, Felix. We're just having a chat. Are you going to record it? Why would I do that? It's how they do it on TV. We're not on TV. The cold from the metal chair seeped through my pajama bottoms. Do cops watch cop shows? Of course. But isn't that like bringing your work home with you? Constable Lee smiled. Her teeth were very straight. My powers of observation, or POO, told me that she came from a middle-class family, one that could afford an orthodontist. My POO also told me she enjoyed her food. The buttons on her uniform were strained to the max. Not really, she answered. It's escapism for us too, and we get to shout at the TV if they do something totally bogus. Like what? Like record this type of conversation. We only record a conversation if someone has been charged with a crime or is a suspect in a crime. Are you recording Astrid right now? I can't answer that. Oh boy, I hardly ever cry, but all of a sudden I thought I might burst into tears right in front of the cop. I think she could tell because she added, I highly doubt it. I breathed in. I breathed out. I sat up straight. I tried to look calm and dignified, even though I knew my blonde curls were sticking out in all directions. Because until everything went so terribly wrong, I'd been in bed. Plus, I was wearing my ancient Minions pajamas, which were juvenile and way too small. Constable Lee and her partner hadn't given us time to change. I'd like to call my lawyer, I said. Let me guess, you got them from TV too? Yes. Do you have a lawyer? No, but legally I'm allowed one, right? Except you don't need one. You haven't done anything wrong. So I could just leave? I suppose, but where would you go? I thought about Dylan and Winnie. Then I remembered that I told them I never wanted to see them again. When will they be done talking to Astrid? Soon, I'm sure. She stared at me, clicking her pen. Open, shut, open, shut. Mind if I ask you why you don't call her Mom? She says it's too hierarchical. I scanned the huge room, full of desks and a handful of people, for the 100th time. For the 100th time, I didn't spot Astrid. It'll be okay, I thought messaged her, because she's always telling me that she receives anything I send her. I don't believe that anymore, but under the circumstances, it was worth a shot. For the record, I said to Constable Lee, Astrid is a great parent. Good to know. She tapped on her keyboard. I'm going to ask you a few questions, okay? Okay. Let's start with your full name. Felix Frederick Knudsen. She typed it on her computer. Age? 13. Well, almost 12 3/4. Mom's full name. Astrid Anna Knudsen. Address? I looked down at my feet. I wore my rubber boots. No socks. There hadn't been time to search for a pair. Constable Lee leaned towards me. Her shoulders were rounded. She did not have good posture. When we answered your call tonight, Felix, it did appear that you were both living there. Oh, how I longed for my mom. She would have had a plausible sounding explanation, but I'm not like her. I'm not a natural-born stretcher of the truth. So I continued to stare at the floor. Constable Lee started typing, even though I hadn't said a word. Felix, she said gently, you can talk to me. I'm hungry. Of course. I should have asked. She pushed herself up from her desk and hitched her pants up around her belly. We're talking vending machine snacks. I hope that's okay. Any allergies or preferences? No allergies, no preferences. Although I am partial to anything cheese-flavored. Constable Lee walked across the big room. I glanced around. A couple of the cops were at their desks. One was reading Popular Mechanics and another was dozing. I swiveled Constable Lee's computer screen toward me. It was a very official-looking report. Name, Felix Frederick Knudsen. Age 12. Parent guardian, Astrid Anna Knudsen. Address, NFA. I'm pretty good at figuring out acronyms. And this one, given the context, came to me almost right away. No fixed address. I felt a ripple of dread. Astrid had warned me over and over, no one can find out where we live. Until tonight, I'd broken the rule only once. Our cover was blown. I tried to tell myself it wasn't my fault. I had no choice. I had to call the cops. If I hadn't, who knows what would have happened. Still, the bad guys got away. And who was at the police station? The innocent victims. Us. 2 bags of cheesies landed on the desk in front of me, along with a can of Coke. Aren't we a nosy, Parker? Constable Lee said as she swiveled the screen back to her. No one can agree on the origin of that expression, I said. Some people think it came from an archbishop in the 1500s named Parker, who asked too many questions. Other people think that's hooey, since the phrase didn't appear until the end of the 19th century. I knew I was rambling, but I couldn't help it. You are a font of knowledge. My mom says I store facts like a squirrel stores nuts. Constable Lee tore open a bag of chips and popped one in her mouth. Now, you have to believe me when I say I'm here to help. I wanted to believe her, but I kept thinking of my mom, who snorted like a pig whenever a police car drove past, who said things like, never trust the man. Which man? I asked when I was younger. The man. It's an expression. It means any man or woman who's in a position of authority. So all I said to Constable Lee was, thanks, but we don't need any help. Really? Really. We'll be moving very soon. Yeah? Where? I don't know yet, but I'm coming into some money. The only question is how much. An inheritance? No. Selling some valuables? No. Robbing a bank? Very funny, no. So where is this money coming from? A game show. Well, now I'm intrigued. Tell me more. About the show? Constable Lee put her feet up on the desk. About everything. I studied her face. My POO told me she was a decent person. Maybe if she knew the truth, she would see that we'd done nothing wrong. So I poured a bunch of cheesies down my throat, and then I told Constable Lee the whole truth and nothing but. Okay, so this book is sweet, but it's also realistic, and it's kind of a sad awakening for this young boy. He goes back to when he's 6, and then he's back to his almost 13-year age, telling you about how his life's been so disrupted. There was a time that he was living with some security with his grandmother, and that was wonderful. There have been multiple boyfriends in their lives, and things just are really inconsistent, but he's growing up and he's becoming a man of the house type of thing. without a house. So I think you're going to enjoy it. It's definitely one of the best. It was new for me. It was a 2018 book, but it was one of the best newer books that I've read in a long time, and I want you to read it too. Take care. Thanks for watching.